4 light years away from where you are sitting, there lies a beautiful star. The star that will witness humanity's spacecraft for the first time, with the perfect astronaut on board, tardigrades. But why these creatures will take the trip? And what kind of new spacecraft will be used? Well, let's find out. Tardigrades are a unique breed of tiny animals with a remarkable superpower to withstand just about any climate condition. They can survive the unfriendly conditions at the bottom of a boiling pot and the knee-jerking cold in the Arctic region. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, because even the extreme pressure levels at the depths of the ocean and the harsh climates of outer space is not enough to beat these microscopic animals. Tardigrades are impossibly cute with their long chubby bodies and 8 stubby legs. Due to their plumpy stature, people often refer to them as waterbears or moist pigs. On average, tardigrades are less than 0.5 millimeters long. However, some are unusually large, growing up to 1.5 millimeters or the size of a grain of sand. They can live for up to 60 years and are able to survive without food or water for up to 30 years. These semi-aquatic animals are extraordinary. They can survive -270 to +150 degrees Celsius, ionizing radiation 100 times higher than the lethal dose for humans and even the vacuum of outer space. But how do they manage to survive such conditions? Scientists have long pondered about this paradox as well. Sandra McInnes researched the extreme survival nature of tardigrades and their ability to enter into a so-called ton state. In this period, tardigrades literally shut down, halting their need for water, food, and even oxygen. This allows them to live comfortably in harsh climate conditions for as long as required until normalcy is restored. They are able to do that because of their self-preservation technique, which involves the production of special proteins that keep the fragile cell components of the tardigrades intact. According to a study in the journal Molecular Cell released in 2017, this technique protects their membranes, proteins and DNA from being ripped apart even when they are desiccated. Explaining the process, scientists said, essentially, water bears can dry up and survive for years without water carried around in the wind. When they do come into contact with water, they revive and get on with their lives as though nothing happened. Experts of the field are still unable to scale the maximum limit of damage that tardigrades can endure. They have boiled, dried and fried them, and still they came out alive. In one instance, scientists subjected tardigrades to intense pressure of around 87,000 pounds per square inch or 600 megapascals, which is equivalent to 6 times what you'd experience if you travelled to the bottom of the sea. These tiny animals were even stockpiled into canisters and shot out at an incredible speed of about 900 meters per second, and guess who survived? Tardigrades. However, when scientists tried the same experiment with a speed of more than 2,000 miles per hour, tardigrades were mashed up. Well, that's no surprise, as the critters were exposed to a pressure of 1.14 gigapascals, which is equivalent to the pressure you would feel if 40,000 people stood on your back at once. But nonetheless, researchers were curious whether water bears can withstand the unforgiving solar radiation that dominates the vacuum of space. The only way to satisfy this curiosity was to send these hardcore creatures out there. So, in 2007, the European Space Agency launched 3,000 living tardigrades into Earth orbit for 12 days on the outside of a Photon M3 rocket. Despite the fact that they were not hibernated or any other way prepared for the trip, 68% of them survived. While the journey to Alpha Centauri is a little further down the road, tardigrades have travelled to space on multiple occasions, which is more like a dress rehearsal for the big trip. In 2019, for instance, Israeli Beresheet spacecraft spilled tardigrades on the moon. However, due to a computer glitch, the landing went wrong, sending the lunar lander to crash into the moon at 310 miles per hour. So, as of today, it is still a mystery whether the animals survived the trip or not. One thing is certain though, they are safe and sound aboard the International Space Station as SpaceX Dragon crew cargo spaceship successfully docked on June 5, 2021. The new experiment, named Cell Science 04, aims to identify the genes involved in waterbears' ability to survive and adapt to high-stress environments, including the one astronauts experience in space. So far, it is confirmed that they are able to reproduce in space, as well as take their antioxidant production to a whole new level to combat harmful changes in the body caused by increased radiation exposure in space. As the final step before they will set out to Alpha Centauri, scientists will examine what tricks they use to survive when they arrive in space, and over time, what tricks their offspring use. Are they the same, or do they change across generations? While experts of the field find the answers to these questions, a group of researchers at the University of California have drawn up a plan to send tardigrades on an interesting journey to Alpha Centauri, one of the closest stars to our planet. But there's a problem. It is located about 4.36 light years or 25 trillion miles away from Earth. Even if you travelled at 10% the speed of light, you would need 44 years to arrive at this triple star system, and even that would require some extraordinary engineering innovations. However, scientists at the Penn Engineering and the Breakthrough Starshot initiative have taken up the challenge and are currently designing a solar sail system that could help their colleagues send tardigrades to Alpha Centauri in 20 years. The Starlight program, which is run under the UC Santa Barbara Cosmology Group, has an alternative that sounds very much feasible. Their concept involves shooting these cute little creatures and nematodes to Alpha Centauri in a laser-powered, hand-sized tiny spacecraft. This never-to-be-seen design seeks to speed up the commute using photonic laser propulsion to shorten the journey for their interstellar passengers to an estimate 24-year extrasolar trek. According to the simulations already run by the team, around 20 or maximum 30% of the speed of light could be achieved, meaning the spacecraft would travel around 99.5 million miles per hour. But how? Well, the extremely light and revolutionary design of this interstellar sail probe will have an enormously huge surface when opened, probably miles high. After launch, the whole package would be unfolded just like the James Webb Space Telescope. Then the project engineers would wait for the very best moment to shot it with incredible amount of lasers. To be efficient enough, the system would require 10% of the whole energy network of the US, but only for a few minutes. If everything goes well, these hardcore microscopic animals will be the first terrestrial species to complete an extrasolar trip. A trip that will take more than 80,000 years for the Voyager 1 to accomplish. But even the legendary space probe contributes to the mission, as its 45 years of space exploration taught scientists how to communicate from great distances. And this is certainly a must for a successful mission, as scientists plan to wake up the waterbears from time to time and gather all the data they could. Researchers believe that if they're able to identify what keeps them going in these extreme conditions and how they do it, we could maybe replicate it in humans later on. This would at least give us the basic immunity we need against the harsh environment of the cosmos when we visit places like Alpha Centauri or Mars.